Afternoon here. Good afternoon, Steve Jones.
Hi, Stella.
Thank you so much for the preparations that you're doing right now concerning the PDC. Kindly briefly, can you tell us about that PDC, the upcoming PDC?
We're trying out a new pattern, a new formula. And instead of trying to cram the whole thing into 12 days, we're spreading it over 24 weeks. So it's going to be a real journey. And there's going to be a couple of different kind of networking and chatting sessions, but also a formal lecture each week. And we'll do it over Zoom, so that we can include people both here in the UK and make it available to people in East Africa.
Okay, thank you so much. What is your target group when you look at this PDC?
Actually, that's a good question. It really connects with people who are pioneers, people who want to create change in their communities. They might be farmers, they might be teachers, they might be community leaders, they might even be youth. It's not restricted, but we're looking for people with the drive, with the inspiration.
Okay. Looking at the current situation right now, the whole world is crippling, and
I think I got the gist.
I can repeat it?
Oh, yeah, go on.
I can repeat it. The network was fine. I was saying, sorry about the network issues. I was talking about the struggling economy right now in the entire world, and the prices that are so much fueling each and every day. And you've brought this PDC at this specific time, you know. I'm imagining what help will it be to these people at this particular time?
I mean, 24 weeks it's nearly 6 months, isn't it? It's quite a long time. And the course is going to run during the time, as you say, everyone is feeling the crisis, they're feeling a change in many ways. I think it will be useful for people in several ways. One is it's like a support group. It's giving you ideas and connection. And for me, it's very important that people have the opportunity to talk to each other. Secondly, it's going to give you practical ideas about soil, water, food, growing, harvesting, processing. We're going to have to meet more of our own needs individually. And we're also going to have to collaborate with each other much more cooperation. I think the PDC steers people in all of those directions.
Okay. I'm imagining if you've ever had a training of this kind in the struggling time before, like during the COVID-19. Did you have any taste of such a PDC, like having a PDC in a struggling time?
Well, yes. And in fact,
And
we've had some
that have been,
we have run some in some very challenging times. In 2008, we ran a PDC and it was during that the economic crash happened. The price of oil spiked, and it triggered the banking collapse. And that was really brought to terms to us how fragile the whole global situation is. You mentioned the pandemic. We've actually ran 2 or 3 during the pandemic, and it was, I mean, very challenging. But this is, I think, one of the reasons why we want to use Zoom and remote learning more, because we recognize it's a powerful tool. But on the other hand, we also recognize people need to get together and work together to learn and to share and to motivate. So we're trying to bring both of those elements together on this course.
Oh, thank you so much. You touched about you doing the training during COVID-19, and I guess you couldn't travel to the other part of the world to deliver that training yourself. Was your training successful, or like how did your participants perceive the training? Were they practical in it? Did they do better? Did they do well? Tell me something about it.
I know that the people who did the course over Zoom had a less experience. It's not the same as being together. But that said, they'd never experienced a permaculture design course before, so it was still their first experience. And many people reported that it was still a life-changing, really exhilarating experience doing it. And I'm thinking specifically of our friends in South Africa who tuned in remotely and got a lot from it. And the other one, of course, was we could think about the PDC that you were on, Stella, in September 2020, the one that we ran in Kumi, and we made many changes to make it, safer and more practical. But it really worked. The combination of having some remote teaching from me and just being people from that community being together, that still worked. It's not as good, but we've got to find ways to deliver under all challenges.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Jones, for the interview. It was great having from you and hearing from you. I wish you the best of the time during these trainings, and I hope to be part of it during the training. Thank you so much.
Very much so, you will be. And thank you, Stella.